Hello, good evening. Welcome to Music 8 Presents from Eastone Recordings. This week we had Silvertongue drop in for a chat earlier. We're going to be playing one of her music videos. Also the very talented PJ. And we have the amazing Rebecca Shelley about to play a live set for us. So with no further ado, Rebecca, please take it away.
Let's go on a walk today. 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 We'll catch the sun, we'll see big brown trees, and we'll walk away. We'll walk away from this. We'll walk away.
Wow, thank you, Rebecca. That was amazing.
Thanks.
Let's have your next one then.
Okay, this next one is Downhill.
There's a fire here inside my home. It used to burn so slow, but you've always been lit up so bright. Your innocence is so alive. So let's go down, so let's go downhill. Don't you wanna know, don't you wanna know what's real? So let's go down, so let's go downhill. Don't you wanna know how they must feel? Didn't know what to do with all this time, but now I figured out what is wrong and what is right. And now we must hear the cries and see the fear. And we've got a long, long way to go from here. So let's go down, so let's go downhill. Don't you wanna know, don't you wanna know what's real? So let's go down, so let's go downhill, yeah. Don't you wanna know how they must feel? How they must feel, how they must feel, how they must feel. So let's go down, so let's go downhill. Don't you wanna know, don't you wanna know what's real? So let's go downhill. And now don't you wanna know how they must feel? So let's go downhill. So let's go downhill. So let's go downhill. So let's go downhill.
Yes. Track number 2. Really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
What instrumentation do we have in line for the next one?
So the next one is just violin and singing.
Okay.
We're back on the loop pedal.
We love the loop.
So this one is Ocean. To stay swimming in these cold dark waters. I know that I belong here with the fish and the turtles. Away. Could I set myself free? Or would there be no way? There's no one to help me, and the strength in my body gave way. Away. Oh, how I love darkness of the deep parts, deep parts, deep parts. The ocean is my home. How I love darkness of the deep parts, deep parts, deep parts. Darkness of the deep parts, 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 darkness, at the deeper parts.
Rebecca, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to be catching up with Rebecca a little bit later on the stream, so don't go anywhere. But first of all, I caught up with Silvertongue and the Rebeat Beat Poet earlier, and we had a bit of a chat. So this is what happened earlier. Hello, welcome back to Music 8 Presents. I'm here with Silvertongue and the Rebeat Beat Poet, and we're going to have a quick chat about a few things that are going on at the moment. So my first question goes over to Stacey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here.
This is a lot of fun.
It is. We've already been doing a few warm-up songs.
No, this is the first take. It's absolutely the first take. Just like the entirety of Stacey's last album was all the first take. It was all the first take.
I would call you something, but I don't know what your terms are.
Call me correct. It's good promo.
We can swear on here, right?
We're there's no internet watershed, as far as I'm aware.
Wonderful.
Stacey, we've known each other for a while, and I knew you playing with bands full time for a few years before you bravely stepped out as a solo artist. What were your reasons for that change of direction?
I've always played for lots of different projects and helped other people's creative visions come to life, and just really finally wanted to take a moment to be my own artist and create something with no boundaries of genre or, you know, how commercial it is or any of these factors, and just basically put together what I've always dreamed of, which is what Beneath the Surface is. Yeah.
And it was released on March the 18th this year.
Yes, it was.
Interesting timing. Well, before we get into that, I have to say the array of talent in every department was quite amazing. How did you draw together such an interesting group of people to work on this album?
Well, the main criteria was that you're a kind, good person and that you treat other people with respect. And so every single person involved in this process was first and foremost a friend before being like a musician or an engineer or a producer or whatever. So and from touring and doing gigs a lot, I met some of Kamasi's a lot in America, and then met Snarky Puppy's engineer when Snarky were on tour very randomly. And then also the actual core and root of the project is the musicians and artists like PJ.
How did you meet PJ?
We met at Imaginary Millions, didn't we?
Yeah, Imaginary Millions.
They're still imaginary for me, anyway.
This is the thing for a lot of people. It's maybe there'll be more times where we get to have the gigs again soon. But yeah, it's a live kind of hip hop jam, but also like a poetry jam as well. And it runs in the book club in Shoreditch, and we will be there on the first Sunday of every month for maybe a period of about 2 years, the past 2 and a bit years. And I met Stacey, came down with a sax one time.
And that was it.
Yeah. Blew me away. And then, kept in touch since then. And then Stacey hit me up being like, putting together this project, would you have something to contribute? Simple as that, really.
And yes, you absolutely had something to contribute.
He's incredible. He's very modest.
I hear on the grapevine there's some exciting things coming up for Silvertongue in the near future.
Yes, there is something really exciting and finally something really positive to talk about. Kweku and Franz Vaughan from KOG and the Zongo Brigade have asked Silvertongue to do a feature track on a collaboration record, which I think will have Onopa, Nubian Twist maybe, who knows, a whole host of artists.
Yeah.
So we're working on that at the moment. But I think PJ knows a bit more about it.
Not particularly. I'd had like a point of interest. I'm going to say very excited about it. I just got told about it today, so I'm sitting in the back.
This is
like,
fresh.
Exactly.
Can't be more fresh.
Fresh out the oven, hot off the press. Yeah.
You can tell he used to be a journalist.
I was writing for film and I loved it, but yeah. No, the point of interest that I wanted to bring up was just KOG and the Zongo Brigade, this incredible band that I've only recently been turned on to when Stacey performed with them recently, and to do a bit of research into their name, because I thought it's an interesting name, the Zongo Brigade. I was like, but I'm Ghanaian, Kweku Ghanaian, and they incorporate a lot of high life and Ghanaian sounds, and also the more choral, operatic like side of the vocals as well. That's also across West Africa, is also in the music, but it's also in the name. The Zongo Brigade. I was looking into this, and so the Zongo was the Zong was a British slaving ship in like the late 1780s that famously went down, and there was an insurance claim made upon it. This is the only reason we know about the details of this particular slave ship.
So often in history, that's all that's left is the financial documents, or
exactly, you know, and it's so strange to think about how much we know about the kind of material remnants of these people's lives as opposed to their actual lives, which is so interesting when you name a band KOG and the Zongo Brigade. It kind of brought it to life.
I bet you were curious to know more about the people that were.
Well, yeah. Also, it's just part of the general moment of, you know, the excavation of a lot of British imperial history in the current moment, and so just these confluence of interests, and also the music bangs like it was a rejuvenating like moment, because I discovered the band during lockdown.
Okay.
And so it's been a time of increased isolation and stuff, and then I find this band with this music that speaks to me on like the spiritual level, but also on a like groovy and dance level. And so I thought, you know what, let's look up the name. And so yeah, this slave ship went down. It had twice the number of slaves on it that like was like legal to have at the time. Just the sheer absurdity of what we're speaking about. But this is how we come to know about it. And it went down. And so this is a large syndicate, like a syndicate based in Liverpool, that owns this slave
financial
ship.
Syndicate.
Exactly, financial syndicate. And then there's a court case where there's an insurance claim made for the loss of property on board that ship. So the crew managed to survive and save themselves, and the slaves did not. And to know that this ship and this part of history was also immortalised in a painting by James W. Turner, I think. Very hazy sort of thing that speaks to how we don't like to address these histories. We don't like to look at them. And it's weird to think that the records are only there as a financial thing.
Yeah.
And so now to have a band with this name, with the liveliness and the vibrancy of this music.
Something of a disconnect there between the things.
Yeah, and it's just part of the disconnect of living in a world that is so absurd like this, you know. And so I wanted to bring that up and say that it's just a wonderful, wonderful aspect of working, and us being able to then work with them naturally for me.
We've been talking about how important it is to direct our attention to issues through music. PJ, I believe you've brought some poetry with you.
Yeah, so this is the piece that forms the poem on the song Ghana. Motherland, fatherland, homeland, home soil. Home turf by sand and surf, a history, a culture. National histories, colonial histories, colony, colonized, independent now. Now outpost, trading post, Cape Coast, castles, castles overlooking rolling seas, parapets above dungeons, walls harbouring secrets, desperate etchings, a gateway. The door of no return. Returning. Look back, turn around, step forward, forward, march. March on with ancestral acceptance and blessings, sing. Sing the stories that built these cities. Reject atrocities as our only history, be intelligent and moving. A consciousness moving through history to reattach to back before black. Extract only what is of use from pain. Alchemical change. Repeat, maintain, chill in the heart of heat. Repeat prayer, repeat refrain. Lay claim to motherland, fatherland, homeland, and home.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The track Ghana.
Yeah, so like I'm Ghanaian, and along Ghana's coast, long line of forts owned by different European imperial powers, right? So like Portuguese, Spanish, British, French, Dutch, all at different times have had like these different forts, and in one there is a door that is called the Door of No Return, which was the moment where if you were being held in this particular slave castle in Elmina in Ghana, that was the last thing you saw before you knew your life would end, change, never be the same. And I visited there a few times. I visited there once. And I feel like I've been there so many times because of how vivid the memory is. And so that's part of the poem that I contributed. One of the pieces that I contributed to Beneath the Surface, because Stacey had a song that I felt could fit the words. It was about having the right fit, and we worked on it for a while. I edited the poem and switched it up, but the way it came out on the album, I'm really proud of.
Very, very powerful words and very genuine, and makes me very sad and emotional sometimes listening to it. It's a very powerful story.
Somewhat disturbing.
Yeah.
And it should be. It absolutely should be. You should
educating people that I am ashamed and happy to say that I had no idea or any idea about any of this and was completely ignorant. And then thanks to meeting PJ and this collaboration, it's like a realization of things that we should all know about. And so it was I think very good in that sense.
Sorry.
I was just going to say on behalf of myself and the audience, thank you so much for talking to us about that today.
Yeah, like what I will say is it's the music and the poetry and the art and these pieces of culture are ways that we can talk about it. You know what I mean? Like if we speak about what's happening now in the UK about in terms of government encroachment upon what we are allowed to teach and which ideas are being legitimized and demonized by the state. It's incredible to think that in Parliament the other day, critical race theory, which is an academic field of study, is now on the history books in Hansard, the parliamentary record, as being something which is dangerous, divisive, and think about it if they came out saying, oh no, existentialism as a concept is dangerous and divisive, we're not going to teach it, or they said I don't know, irrigation, or just something, plumbing.
Let's go straight to the source. Mathematics, right?
Yeah, and
the first thing your maths teacher says is 2 and 2 doesn't have to equal 4. So let's make that dangerous and divisive as well.
Exactly, and so And as well, a few months ago, there was they were trying to basically poetry became a choice as opposed to a thing that you have to learn at GCSE English, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a whole thing of like, why are you trying to move away from poetry? It's very important.
I didn't actually know that. I'm ashamed to say.
Yeah, but you know, I'm a poetry nerd as well. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
So I keep into these things. But it's part of this general move to like encroach upon what is free to be taught and which ideas are free to be discussed,
Mm-hmm.
because some of them challenge the status quo narrative about how this country sees itself. I'm talking about the UK here.
Well, let's talk about the British values modules that exist
exactly
in primary school,
and the prevent strategy, which basically demonizes demonizes Muslim people, demonizes people who tend to be poorer in particular working class backgrounds. And so it's very important that, we take the music and the culture and the art seriously. And we really, so I'm glad to be here and talking because it's important. And we can use the art to talk about real issues and, learn about history. And, everybody benefits from that.
So I think you've probably answered my next question. But my next question was going to be, in this time when the live scene is so difficult, clubs and venues are shutting down, there's not enough support for musicians, perhaps, Stacey, you could share your perspective with us. What makes the arts worth saving? It's a big question. Go.
The fact that it keeps me alive right now, the fact that I'm having to work a rubbish job right now because there's not enough shows to live on, but I know that I can come home and make music. I know that it's brought me a huge creative family, which includes both of you, which make me feel alive and makes life feel worth living on the greatest days. And it's beautiful, and it's the best form of expression. No matter what hardship we're experiencing in life, I can always turn to music, because as much as it's not bringing in much money right now, it's still bringing in the same amount of joy, empathy, pleasure, people. And we might not be allowed to perform live in venues, but we're jamming on the streets of Bristol. We're doing this today. I am working on a musical and we're talking about a digital release. There are ways that we can do it. Like, it's difficult, but it's never been easy, has it?
It's never been easy. One thing that concerns me is the fact that as artists and musicians or producers, whatever way we're involved in the arts, we will keep doing what we're doing.
Of course.
It'll just be really hard, right? And there seems to be this presupposition in society that artists will continue to be artists, whether they get the support or not. And I think that's a very dangerous way to look at things and to think about things. Because we need support to reach people, even in this day of the internet age. We're making this show. This requires certain resources, and the time of lovely people like yourselves.
Yeah.
So whatever we're doing, it's really, really important to support our artists. And talking of supporting our artists, I believe we're really, really close to a vinyl pre-order.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
This is the pitch.
Please, this is the Dragon's Den moment. We are genuinely 5 pre-orders of the vinyl away from being able to get it pressed, and at the moment, we had dramas with my car today, so I can't afford to pay for the last 5 myself. So if any of you would like the music or the poetry that you hear, it's silvertonguesax.co.uk, and it would be the best fuck you to 2020, I think.
Brilliant.
Please buy the vinyl.
Please buy the vinyl.
Please,
At least buy the album, but also pre-order the vinyl.
Yeah.
It's available to listen everywhere. Buy it on Bandcamp. That's how an artist, and in this case, the wonderful Stacey, will receive the most percentage of the profits. And also, just buy the vinyl. Buy the vinyl.
That would be great. That would be lovely.
And
Pretty please.
when you buy the vinyl, yeah, great, brilliant.
See, artists are fine right now. They're literally
Yeah.
so good. Life is so good.
It was perfect. I think we just sold 5. Back me up, guys. We sold 5. Yeah, we have. That's cool. Yeah, great.
I wish.
Stacey, after little dance. Oh well, the dance was good. We might keep it in.
Oh,
Stacey, you lived in London for a couple of years. We missed you very much.
Yeah.
You became one of the go-to saxophone session players around. You still are.
I guess.
I'm sure we'd all love to know what brought you back to Bristol. What did you miss?
I miss the community. I miss being able to go and have a cup of tea or have a dinner with friends within 15 minutes. I miss I think London is great in lots of ways, but I feel like I found it quite disposable, and because there are so many people, people are overwhelmed with the number of things, and it's hard to grow relationships of any sort of substance. I think it's a lot harder to be close to people there. The work that I was saying today, that the workmanship of musicians in London, everyone is so talented, and the push to get better there is incredible, and the talent and the jams and things are wonderful, but ultimately Bristol has always held a special place in my heart because the people are genuine, real, kind, and will support you through everything.
Well, we missed you. Welcome back. PJ, would you like to share your perspective on people in London?
oh mate.
Often kind, supportive, friendly people. I really was just...
We should cut that.
No, I was just hoping Stacey would get to start digging a hole, and that was good. That was good.
No. Okay. The thing is, though, anybody in London is happy to shit on London as like, you know what I mean? The inequality. Let's not talk about it. But
Sure.
what I'm happy to say is that, like, a thing that has kept me in London. I've been thinking a lot about leaving London recently, and it's funny to, I'm thinking about leaving London. There's relationships through the arts and the culture that kept me in London, and that always wanted me. Sorry, they were always the reasons why I wanted to be in London, so that I could be a part of, like these scenes and these art movements and these connections. And then you quickly realise that you have to sacrifice so much to be able to live there and do it. Just talk about rent, it's a classic one, and just it means that you're working all of the time, and like Stacey says,
you miss the events that you want to go to, right?
Exactly, but let's not.
Sure.
That's it's
London is great too.
London is great too.
This is well.
That's our take-home message from today. That's the most serious point that we've made in this interview. London is great too.
Not as good as Bristol.
Not as good as Bristol.
Come on.
Stacey, the album was mixed by the amazing Nick Hard.
Yes.
Lovely Nick of Snarky Puppy and Bill Lawrence. I think we'd all love to hear a little bit about what he brought to the production, and perhaps whether he reworked or reimagined the sound, or whether it stayed true to your original vision.
Well, as you all know, as the producer of the record, there was quite a few alterations done in the mix. He added in some synths and some crazy sort of reverbs and effects, and really made it a bit more ethereal and a bit more cinematic. And I've never sort of, I think, worked with an engineer like that who's so creative in a sound production capacity. It wasn't about just correcting and EQing and all that stuff. It was actually creating sonic.
It was a real pleasure, actually. I remember when we got the team together, listening back to the album for the first bunch of mixes that came back, and that was the overriding thing that was so exciting, was the amount of creativity that had gone into it.
Nick is a legend, so
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I've been here with Silvertongue and the Beat Poet. And
thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. Stacey, if you'd just like to look to that camera right there and introduce your music video for us.
So we have The Break, which was filmed in Tressaith in West Wales and directed by Jack Edwards. I hope you enjoy it.
Hello, welcome back to Music 8 Presents. And look, here I am in the live room of Eastone Recordings with the wonderful Rebecca Shelley that we heard earlier. Say hello.
Hi. Hello.
Perfect. So you very recently released your brand new EP,
Yep.
Long Walk.
Yeah.
Where can people find that?
So it's on Bandcamp, which is my preferred option for people finding it there. But it's on Spotify, iTunes,
All the usuals.
all the
usuals.
usuals. I think it's on
Brilliant.
like Amazon as well.
Bandcamp does pay the fairest share to artists. So if you're going to buy the music, please buy it on Bandcamp. And I believe you recorded the EP at Abbey Road. How was that experience?
Yeah, yeah. My friend Lizzie was doing a kind of internship thing there, and she offered to record me. Said like, if you have a few songs you want to record, then come over. And yeah, it was a really weird experience, but really cool. Like being in the actual studio, going through the hallways and stuff, seeing like the rooms where like big orchestras record and stuff was really cool.
Feeling the ghosts of the
Yeah.
With Us Beatles.
Yeah, exactly.
Walking the corridors.
Going through the corridors, and there's like pictures of like Amy Winehouse and stuff. Yeah.
Sounds like a good experience. I would have been right on the bus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. And all the like microphones and everything were top notch.
Yeah,
So,
brilliant. Of course they are.
Yeah.
So you are a solo artist and a
Mhm.
multi-instrumentalist.
Yes.
Was it like arranging for yourself that way? Because I've never done it personally.
I guess the loop pedal helps me a lot. I don't really like arrange, as in I don't like write scores out or anything, but I guess I kind of just like will do a bit of backing on the loop pedal, mess around with that, and then because you can create layers with it, you can kind of like make songs through just jamming with yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's how I do it at the moment.
Works great. Any interest on maybe finding some band members in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I'm on
out.
I'm on the hunt. So
Shout out. Yeah.
if anybody fancies playing bass or percussion for me, then yeah, I would be very keen.
Brilliant. And I believe you have some sort of gig coming up. Nothing solo, but you're playing with our good friends My Octopus Mind.
Yes, yeah, My Octopus Mind.
So that's at
album launch.
The Trinity.
Yeah, on
Brilliant.
the 20th of November.
Hey, big venue.
And and Carriac, I think that's how you say it, is supporting, and she's really cool. I've never seen her live, but she does loads of cool stuff with like those thumb piano things and like singing and loads of effects. It's very cool.
I love thumb piano.
Yeah,
It's the only one you can fit in your pocket. It's great. Last question I wanted to ask you was about the track Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be playing the music video really soon, so don't go anywhere. It's a beautiful, animated, amazing video.
Animated by Shelley Reddy.
Thank you, Shani. Does it touch on some issues that are close to your heart?
Yeah, definitely. The song is kind of it's meant to be from the perspective of a fish, and it's all about like the fish. It's kind of like a love song about the ocean and how much the fish loves its home, but then the sad bit is that the home is being destroyed by humans.
Bloody humans.
I know, right?
Always messing everything up for everyone else. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you'd like to look into that mic and introduce your music video.
So this is Ocean by me, Rebecca Shelley. And the animation is by Shelley Reddy.
Oh, I'd love to stay swimming.